morning, everyone. My clock is bonging 10, so it must be Tap Talk time. It's Dana with the Arts Partnership. And as always, I am excited to have our guest joining us today. Let's bring her right on and get to the conversation. Good morning, Carol.
Hi, Dana.
How are you?
I am well. How about you?
I'm well too, thank you.
Great.
Do you feel recovered from your big opening this week?
Yeah, today I do. Yesterday I had a day that I was just kind of tired. I had been working up to that opening and then I was so happy with it. But then yesterday I just
Kind of collapsed a little. You got to have
right.
that downtime to counterbalance the uptime.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carol Rogne. She is an artist in town. Carol, how long would you say you've been an artist?
Well, I've been an artist really. I mean, I all of my life, but as far as really spending time and devoting time to it, I would say, definitely in the last 2 years,
Mhm.
2 to 3 years. I had grown up like always identifying as an artist, but I had started a business and it was a very all-consuming business that I just couldn't really fit a lot of art in. And so that's part of the reason I retired. I sold my business, retired early just so that I could really focus on art now.
I love that. Everything about that answer, Carol. I've always been an artist. I've always identified as an artist. I had to set it aside for a while because other facets of life stepped in. But then you got to a point where you could say, and now those facets can step out and the art can step back in.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, what a gift. So we're on today because you had a great big opening at Gallery 4 where you are a member artist. That opening was on Tuesday.
Correct.
So I didn't get to go to the opening, but I stopped in yesterday to see the work. And I will tell you, Carol, I noticed a whole bunch of sold signs on that art.
Yeah,
That must have been delightful.
it was. It was. And it was just so much fun. There were so many people who came.
I
It
heard it was kind of a who's who party.
it was great. It really exceeded my expectations and I was just thrilled to see so many friends come in. And I think what was also fun too is I could tell everybody was having so much fun just visiting with each other.
It is funny. There has been such a drought of being able to get together that I noticed that too. People are just grateful to be able to stand in person and have a
Right,
conversation again.
right.
It really did give us the opportunity to stop taking for granted some things that were just very commonplace in people like your and my lives, things like art openings and just being able to run into someone at an event like that and reconnect. It's really been special to see that come back to the community.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. When I think back during 2020 and 2021, I was looking back to some of the different events we would have, with my business and packing the room and all that. And I just thought, oh, that'll never happen again.
Mhm.
And it was just so much fun to have. It was just a perfect number of people.
Excellent. So, Carol, let's talk a little bit. Well, let's start by talking through your show a little bit, because one of the things that I noticed is you are not an easily identifiable artist. You have a number of very different um, genres of painting that you do. So, talk us through a little bit what sorts of art you're drawn to making, for lack of a better pun.
Yeah, I guess I do a lot of abstract.
Mhm.
So abstract acrylics, that's kind of a predominant thing that I do. And even during my career, I had been, and I still am, working with Marjorie Schlossman at the Plains Art Museum. We meet every Wednesday. So while I was working, it was a lot harder to get to it. So I wasn't as regular of
Mhm.
an attender on that, but now I'm pretty regular with that. But I do the abstract. I love pastels. That's something that I'm a little newer at, is the pastels. And I'm thinking now that the show is done, I want to actually start focusing a little more on pastels again. I do watercolors, and I had actually started with watercolors, I would do, while I was working, I would occasionally try to do like a big workshop somewhere, maybe
Mm,
every other year or something like that. The
okay.
first workshop that I did where I traveled somewhere was an abstract watercolor workshop.
Wow.
So that sort of got me started on the abstract and the watercolor path. And then I've done some, some other workshops. So I enjoy that too. And I enjoy drawing and just all of those different things. But it is kind of, um, I think when people look at my work, especially on the abstract, they typically can tell it's my work. I
Okay.
have been evolving more with that, I feel, and growing and changing now that I can focus a lot more on it. But they are surprised when they see some of the realistic pieces.
Yeah, for instance, that piece which is to your right behind you,
Yes.
that beautiful water scene.
Yep.
So, Carol, tell us what medium is that?
That is acrylic.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good size piece.
Yeah, that's 40 inches tall by 30 inches wide.
But I noticed that you also have made it into note cards. So if
Yeah,
somebody
right.
loves the piece but is not in a position to bring that big piece home,
Yes.
still have that work in a much
Right.
smaller way and then share it with other people.
Yeah. And then I had also done um, fairly recently, and this getting to the realistic, I had done a watercolor of the Fargo Theater. That was kind of fun. And then I made that into note cards as well, just so that people could get that if they, you know, weren't getting the original.
They didn't take home the original.
Right.
Yes, some
Right.
lucky person will have the original and the rest of us can have the
That's
card.
right. And it's sold. So
I noticed that.
yeah.
Yes, it did. So, Carol, talk a little bit about Gallery 4 because I think people don't always understand. First of all, just for everyone's background, Gallery 4 is the oldest co-op gallery in America.
Mhm.
Oldest continuously running co-op
Right.
in America. It used to be on Broadway, and now it's on Robert Street. So, how long have you been part of Gallery 4,
So
Carol?
I've been part of Gallery 4 since April of 21. So a little over a year now.
Okay.
So when I started, things were just kind of coming out of COVID. And I had just, I found out there was an opportunity to get into Gallery 4. I had just retired. Well, no, I actually, when I think about it, it had been a little over a year that I'd been retired. But I was thinking in 2021 that, okay, I need to start doing a little bit more with my art as far as some marketing and things like that. I found out there was an opportunity at Gallery 4 and they accepted me in, and I kind of jumped right in even though I didn't really feel quite ready. But I did have paintings and things, but I kind of equate that back with my business. As I was growing the business, I was always jumping into new areas, and I never felt I was ready, but I always knew I'd be ready. So it's
Well, I mean, if we wait until we're ready, we'll never do anything because how can we
exactly.
ever be fully ready to do anything?
Yes, exactly.
So,
So,
talk a little bit about the model of Gallery 4 because I love that model. And I think it's really interesting for people to find out that the person working at the desk is one of you.
right.
So
Yeah,
talk
it's
about the delight of that.
yeah, so it's great. So as a cooperative gallery, we've got the premier artists, and we're the ones that are actually co-owners in the gallery, basically. And then we have a work commitment of probably 2 days a month, each of us. And we meet once a month. And then we help. We each have different things that we do. Like I help because of my background, I help out with finances. And we have people who help with the displays, and we have, so everybody has their different areas that they help with outside of their 2 days of working. And we switch out. So we each, as the premier artists, there's about, right now, I think about 15 of us.
Okay.
So we each have our display space at the gallery. And about every 3 months, we'll switch we rotate our spaces, and then usually we're bringing in new pieces too. So it keeps the gallery fresh, and it gives everybody a chance. There's always some spaces that might be better than others and that type of thing. So that works out really well. We also have a pop-up room in the back, and then that is where my show is. So it doesn't have to even be gallery members, but we have a wait list, and so people can request to be in the pop-up room, and there's just a small charge for that. And then also in the back room, we have a room full of art and shelves and gift items, and those are our supporting artists. So we have about 25 supporting artists, and they have a smaller display space, and they do not have any kind of a work obligation. So, but it's really nice, I think, particularly for people who are working and have a job. Although we do have premier artists who also have jobs outside of Gallery 4, but with the work obligation, it just makes it easier if
Sure.
you're either a full-time artist or have some of the time to do that.
Plus, you also have that whole gift section towards the
Yes.
front, which is really sort of cash and carry,
Right.
local art. All the art is made by local artists, but it doesn't always have a local flair to it. But this gift shop area in the front is really intended for tourists, travelers, people who are here to pick up the Fargo-Moorhead, West Fargo themed items.
And that's what I really like to emphasize to people, to be thinking about Gallery 4. Anytime you have a gift, a birthday present, I tend to shop there myself a lot. If I'm going out with girlfriends for a birthday, pick up a piece of jewelry, a small picture or whatever. So it's not all expensive. And then even our large pieces of art really are pretty reasonably priced, I think.
I think they are too. And I think that's a really important point, because one thing that I think can stop people from walking into a gallery, a museum, those kinds of things, is they think, well, I won't be able to afford anything in that space. And then I'll feel awkward.
Yes.
Because people could create these narratives about artists that they're starving and that they need their money. And that's true for some artists. That's just true for some people. But there is such a wide and expansive price point and type of art inside the gallery. Every time I'm in, I think that I see something from an artist who I know that surprises me. It's just a very surprising space because you do such a good job making it feel fresh.
Yeah, well, thank you. And then the other thing too, it being a cooperative gallery, so we are, like I said, it's the premier artists. We're all co-owners, but for myself, having retired, I love having this new set of colleagues, and people were also supportive of each other. Just like today, since I had my show, I was scheduled to work today and I had things going on and I just felt like I couldn't do it. So I put out a message and, Marcy was willing to take my day, but then somebody else was willing to take part of her day next week. And it just works really well.
Well, you feel from the outside like a really supportive, cohesive group of artists who understand that your success at a gallery opening is a success for all of the artists, because everybody who came to see your work had to walk past everybody else's work to get yours.
And we had sales we had sales for more than just my work that night too. And so that's what we just want to do, is to get people, to come to the gallery. I also like to tell people, parking, we're still in Fargo, I think. So wanting to park in front of a place, and sometimes you can get parking in front, but the Roberts Commons parking lot, that's only half a block north.
Yep.
And it's free for the first 2 hours anytime. And then of course, weekends and evenings is free. But
yeah, we have to stop being a community that says, well, if we can't park in front, then I'm not going to go. And that's just crazy. And this is a space well worth going to. And while you're downtown at Gallery 4, then walk a couple blocks west and go to Plains Art Museum, and walk a couple blocks east and go to the Spirit Room, and a whole host of things to do downtown that are all going to put you in a really inviting way with artists and art. And that's a great thing.
Right.
Carol, how long is your show up until?
It's up until the end of September.
Okay, so I'll just remind people, if you're in the market to buy a Carol Rogne, do not wait. There are a lot of sold signs on those pieces. There are still plenty of pieces to purchase, but
Mhm.
don't wait till the end. Excuse me, don't
Right.
wait till the end of September. Hopefully, it will all be gone.
Right.
Well, excuse me, Carol, thanks for joining me today, and really congratulations on a fantastic show.
Thank you, Dana. This
Yeah,
was great.
it was fun to see it yesterday. I know you're an artist, but to see your work all in one place was really fun. So I loved it, and I really encourage people, stop by Gallery 4. They're open really consistent hours. Is it 10 to 6?
10 till 5:30,
Okay.
6 days a week. So every day except Sunday. At Christmas time, I think in December, we'll have it posted on the door, but usually we're open half a day on Sundays too.
Okay. Great.
But yeah,
Well, amazingly, it's almost time to start thinking about Christmas shopping.
I
So
know
make
it.
Gallery 4 one of your places you stop.
Right.
Everybody, have an excellent week. Next week, you will get a pre-recorded conversation because I'm out of the office. But have a fantastic week. Go out, support local art where you can. And as always, thanks to 702 Communications for the sponsorship of Tap Talk. Carol, great to see you. Congratulations
Thanks,
again.
Dana. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.